Rebecca Means here with Coastal Plains Institute. We're a small local nonprofit that's focused on scientific research, especially as it relates to wetland ecology, and we do environmental education as well. And we're excited to have you out here today as we showcase two of our flagship projects. One of them is an Adopt an Ephemeral Wetland project, and this is a project we created to help get the public to help us monitor the amphibians that live in ephemeral wetlands. Right behind me, there is an ephemeral wetland. These wetlands are unique because they do not hold water year-round. They fill up during the rainy season, and then during the dry season they will dry out. And because they dry out, they do not have fish, and that's a very important factor for several species of amphibians that will only breed in ephemeral wetlands. And a lot of these species are declining throughout their range, and so we created this Adopt an Ephemeral Wetland program to help us monitor the populations that are in the ephemeral wetlands that are located in the Munson Sandhills region of the Apalachicola National Forest, and that's where we are today. Now, typically on a Saturday in every month of the year, we will have what we call dipnetting days. And for our dipnetting days, we invite the public out to an ephemeral wetland in the Apalachicola National Forest. We go over sampling methodology, so how to sample for amphibian larvae, and we go over amphibian identification, and then you can sign up to an Adopt a Wetland, in which case that we would provide you equipment and field guides and all the necessary materials you need. Then you would agree to sample your wetland twice a year, once in the winter and once in the summertime. That way you're catching the amphibians that breed in the wintertime, and then there are a whole other suite of amphibians that breed in the summertime. And so we want to make sure that we are sampling throughout the year. And since we can't have you out here today, we thought we'd kind of demonstrate what we do at a dip netting day. We use a dip net to sweep through the water column and see what we catch. Now look at this. We have a whole lot of tadpoles right here. They're very small, so typically we will wait several weeks after a rain to come and sample a wetland, because once the tadpoles hatch out of their eggs, they're really small and hard to identify. These are most likely pinewoods tree frog tadpoles. There could be some barking tree frogs mixed in with them as well. We also see lots of invertebrates that live in the wetlands. So it's always exciting, even if you don't find amphibians. There are a great number of species out here to see. As part of the program, we also have really small nets. This is a family-friendly program, and so we have these small nets for children. They float, so they won't get lost in the wetlands. Oh, see, you can't lose it. That one's not floating very well. The other thing that we are going to show you today is our striped newt repatriation project. And the striped newt is a salamander species, which you will meet in a minute, that has been declining throughout its range, and particularly here in the Apalachicola National Forest. And so we have been working with the Forest Service and quite a few other partners, state wildlife agencies, private zoos, and other foundations to bring the striped newt back to the Munson Sandhills and reintroduce them. So we will meet the other half of Coastal Plains Institute, Ryan Means, and he is leading the striped newt project, and you're going to get to check some drift fence traps. So let's head up to the drift fence.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Ryan Means, as my wife and colleague just introduced. I'm the president of the Coastal Plains Institute, and like Rebecca said, I also work to repatriate striped newts back into their former habitat here in the Apalachicola National Forest. This is a longleaf pine ecosystem on sandy soils with all kinds of ephemeral wetlands embedded within it. And you just saw a prime example of an ephemeral wetland. This is one of our striped newt recipient ponds. And this morning, I'm here to do some field work related to the striped newt project. we've got this amazing drift fence encircling one of our recipient ponds here, and it's the job of myself and some others to come here and check these drift fences because we've got traps along the fences. So what are you doing? What's this fence all about? It turns out, after we release striped newts into the wetland, we also want to monitor the success of our repatriations over time, and we use this drift fence to do that. We'll catch newts coming into and out of the wetland over time, and we count the number of newts, we read their marks, and we gather some really useful, really robust, telling scientific data that way to measure our success over time with repatriations. And speaking of striped newts, we brought one from home today to show you. We can't always forecast that we're going to catch one on the drift fence, but I would like for you all to meet the most famous striped newt in the world. This is Surfer the striped newt. She is our companion. I won't say pet, but she has been our educational and outreach striped newt now for 4 years. She's over 4 years old. She is a maximum sized gravid aquatic adult female, and look at those stripes. That is how you identify the striped newt. They're unmistakable. They have 2 red stripes going down either side of the backbone or of the middle part of the back of the newt. There's another newt, mind you, that lives conspecifically here in North Florida, all over the eastern United States actually, that you could find, but they have dots going down the back instead of a perfect red stripe. Anyway.
And you can learn more about the striped newt on our website. So if you go to coastalplains.org and click on the research tab, you'll see a link to the striped newt project, and you can learn a lot more about this salamander species and earn points for your passport this summer.
Points are good. Okay, let's check a couple traps and see what we have this morning here. All right, I want to reach in with my net. Oh boy, I saw something wiggling in there. What was that? Let's be gentle. Oh gosh, it's got a red tail. I know instantly what that is with that tail. Come here, buddy. Oh.
I can't see.
I know, let's get it out here. What a treat. This is a gorgeous little baby hatchling mole skink. Look at that red tail. Now I bet a bunch of you, maybe all of you, are familiar with blue-tailed baby skinks here in North Florida. There's 3 species of skink whose babies have blue tails, but this is the only species of skink in Florida that has a red tail, both as a baby and an adult. Look at that. This is the mole skink. You know, these are hard to find. I tell you, they really are. You can't just walk out in the woods and see them readily. They're easily captured, however, in our drift fence pitfall traps. I'm going to let him go on the opposite side of the fence because presumably this little animal was moving out of the wetland basin. Oh, look at that. Oops. That's wonderful. He's going to dive down into the sand, and we probably won't ever see him or her again. Let's see if there's anything else in the bucket. Nope, we're good there. Let's go to the next bucket. Ooh, look at all those treasures in there.
Holy cow.
So I said I don't reach in by hand, but I am going to get this lizard. Oh, man. Look at that. Look at the color. Okay, so that is the diagnostic character for this species. A blue belly like that means this is a male fence lizard, an eastern fence lizard. Other characters include this really scaly, prickly skin covering his body. Look at that beautiful blue-bellied male. He'll display that to females and other males when he wants to do some communication. He'll tell other males to get out of his territory, and he'll try to attract females into his territory. So we're going to release this lizard where it belongs. Here, let's release him onto a tree.
Wait for me.
Okay. Here we go. Check that. Oh, look at him. Yep. He was tired of being in that bucket all night. We rescue everything in these buckets, and there's more. There's more in this bucket. Look at that beetle. Wow, it's metallic green. I know what that is. This is called the Virginia big-headed tiger beetle. Look at the green. Wow, I love tiger beetles, y'all. Look at the mandibles. This is a predaceous ground beetle. Runs around all day and night, preying on little things that are on the ground. It primarily eats insects, but I wonder what would happen if it came into contact with that little baby mole skink. Probably would try to eat that too. Look at the spider. This is called the Rabid wolf spider. It's a small one as far as wolfies go. Wow, look at that. Love me some wolf spiders. Get off of there, buddy. Okay. So let's see what else is in here. This is a wonder bucket. Okay, we're done with that. Wait, was
Whoa, what was that?
Cool beetle. Don't forget that beetle. Beetles are neat too. That's another kind of a ground beetle. Let's go check one more bucket here. And so you can see one of the major things that we do on the Striped Newt project is we check our drift fence every single day, because this is how we monitor our success of our repatriation efforts throughout the months and the years. Look at that beetle. But as you can see, we don't just catch striped newts in this fence. We catch all kinds of things that move into and out of the pond. Look at the mandibles on that ground beetle. This is called the margined warrior beetle. It's awesome. And so with that, y'all, I will conclude. And it was nice to see you today. I hope you had as much fun as we did.
And we hope to see you out here either with the Adopt an Ephemeral Wetland program, or you can volunteer to be part of our Striped Newt repatriation team, and we can train you in identifying all the species here out in the Munson Sandhills, and you can check our traps for us so we won't have to do it all the time. See you later.